Alrighty. Happy Friday, November the 14th. This is gonna be a simple trade recap and breakdown exactly of my thought process from today to this morning, New York. Uh, the New York market opening session, right? So, what I exactly did, and what was I thinking coming into this morning pre-market? What did I see? What was I expecting? What was I hoping? These are the things I typically like to cover. Make it real simple, and obviously we're here to just to catch a small piece, not really the and hopefully, it's the bigger piece and hopefully it's the ultimate move, but sometimes it just doesn't pan out. This morning was a little bit weird, but after kind of looking back, I can kind of see how if I wanted to maximize my profit, maximize my gains, ideally what I should have done, right? But it's Friday, so I was looking for sell-offs, right? So Monday is kind of funny. Monday, typically the market likes to skyrocket towards north, which means it's Monday, the week likes to start off bullish, and typically towards the end of the week, it likes to be a little bit more bearish, which means we could expect to see sell-offs, right? So I've been trading for since 2019 professionally, right? So I've been trading a little bit before that, but 2019 professionally. So what that means is obviously I do have a certain bias based on the day, based on the news. Obviously that's just a good kind of indication of what to expect based on the day. That's not just everything, that's not the full story, right? So let's break it down. The market, the New York market open session opens at 6:30 a.m. PST, right? PST time zone. So what did I see, right? Let's zoom out. Actually, that just made it worse. What did I see? So ideally I took three sells today, right? I'm not gonna show my profits in this one, but I took three sells. And you can make whatever profit, whatever amount have just depending on your capital, your account size, your percentage that you're risking, and of course based on your entry, right? And again, that's from the forex side, like based on your lot size. If you're from the futures, your contracts, right? Whether you take micros, minis, XYZ, right? um Ideally I was looking for a sell off, and I took three sells. This purple line is on my first trade. That's where I moved my stop loss, and at one point it kind of looked like she was gonna just make that final dump, but we were basically lingering right here for like the longest time in that zone, right, if you will, right? After I took a sell, this white dotted line is where I took my first sell. The blue line on the very top, I know there's a lot of lines, guys, and there's two blue lines. Sorry, but on the very top blue line, that's my resistance zones, right? So what that means in this case is that we basically were coming down, retrace came down, retrace came down, finally retrace came down, and then we were just wicking this and then retraced, and then ideally I want to see it hold basically this zone, right? So I just looked towards the left and then zoomed out, and then I can see we came over here, bounce, came down, finally broke it. We did wick a little bit, and then we finally shot all the way back up. So ideally I wanted to see this same action right here again, right? You always want to look to the left, because price is always going to repeat the same thing that it did previously, right? And plus wicks always show signs of weakness, right? So you can obviously anything that came basically close to the bottom of this wick or the bottom of this wick, that's where your stop loss should be. But I just think that would be a massive stop loss. So to each their own. I do think, looking at the left, I do think this would have been a great stop loss. And why is my thing purple now? It should be blue. But anyways, my first trade, I took a sell. I mean, it was 25. At one point I was 30 points in profit. I think it was a little over 30 points, a little bit more, like 35. But I just did my stop loss and profit. I wanted to secure some gains because Friday, especially with the momentum, it's very volatile, it's very choppy for 1-2. I don't want to be up 30 something points in profit, and then next thing you know, be up in 6 points in profit. Or for the most part of the time, I actually got in a little late entry over here, to be honest. So I was basically 10 points, especially with my broker fees, or my broker, the spread difference, right? The spread difference between the bid and the bid and the ask. So that's what it is with forex. So there was a little bit of a difference, which was 2 points. So I think 12 points in drawdown was just kind of lingering. um you know, Ideally I put a sell stop, and by the time she got filled, I just kind of was lingering on top of it. So I was in drawdown actually majority of the trade, and when she got below it, she stayed right below it. I never got in drawdown after that, which took a good minute, as a matter of fact. But once she came down, just my stop loss and profit, and I wanted to see it dump, right? So I wanted to basically see it create lower lows, right? Because again, if I just take my marker again, we're doing this action, right? So ideally I just wanted to see it flush below this, and then that's where I was going to adjust my stop loss, and I just wanted to see it flush, right? I was not even looking towards the left, because there's nothing towards the left over here. Everything is just ancient. Now if I had to be honest, I would be looking for something over here. But basically making a low over here, right, to exceed that. But then at that point, that's just being a little greedy, because if you're not adjusting your stop loss, if you don't really have the realist expectations, you're gonna get fucked up, right? So, and we're here to trade for what we know, not for what we feel like, not what we hoping, right? We're not praying and trading at the same time either. So, it's kind of crazy. Let me just go into 1 minute time frame. You can kind of see everything. Was very choppy. I had entered right on this green candle, 618. I thought that's where we're looking pretty bearish, and I mean that's exactly where I was expecting bearish momentum to take over. Instead, we had fluffed it a little bit, and then next thing you know, we're just lingering, right? So it was a little bit scary had she not came close to my entry, because then at that point I was willing to just cut this trade off for basically like 10, 12 points. Stop loss. Right now, a lot of people might be like, you need to give a space. Yes, but you have to understand the markets. You have to understand your setup. You have to understand where you don't want the trade to go, and where that area is that you're gonna have to cut the trade, right? Not a lot of people realize that. Not a lot of people think of that. They just think that if it comes all the way over here, somewhere over here, right? And I'm of course looking at these highs. Maybe if it comes over here, I have to cut it. Well, what's your reasoning? You got to think about all that, right? So because when you take a loss, you have to make sure you're telling the person in the mirror that, hey, this is why I took a loss, and that's exactly why I stopped out in that area, right? Or maybe if you just blew your account, then that's the hardest conversation to have with yourself in the mirror, looking at yourself and being like, yeah, I took a loss like this, right? So anyways, you can see on a 1 minute time frame, I adjusted my stop loss, and basically this green candle had just triggered my stop loss and profit. So I'm not looking at profits right now, but it was like late 20 points in profit, right? So crazy enough, I can't even show it on the 15-minute time frame anymore, but when she actually had opened New York market opening session, she had literally just retraced it, and my second sell was somewhere down here, I remember. And next thing you know, I wanted to just see a final flush, but she did come up, she did retrace. I don't know if you're gonna see it over here. Yeah, I did retrace a little bit, and that's exactly. I just got out 30 points in profit, so my second trade was no. My second trade was a little bit less than my first trade. So I mean, I think in total today on that account I took 36, 38 points in profit, something like that, right? So again, adjusted my stop loss and profit. I mean, I still was really heavy on that. We're just gonna sell off. And the moment I saw this thing just dropping, and then I saw this candle, I was like, oh my god! I left basically everything on the table. It's just weird though, because I thought even at this point I was like, well, I could still chase it, because at this point we have a good support zone, right? We have a great support. Basically, see it. It came up, bounced, came up, bounced, double bottom, 3 wicks. I was like, this is a great spot for this to actually just sell off. But look, I think this is the part. Yeah, it was a nasty 1 minute candle, and the next 2 minute candles were just completely all fucked up. But look at how it made my resistance support, right? So that would have been a great support zone for basically this trade. Um, Ideally, looking back at a calm mind, and I kind of got a little too excited. I took another sell on my bigger account. I think I did chase this one on my bigger account, and that was really the trade that made me happy. But again, I got my third trade. I got my first one on my big account, but my third trade overall, trading forex. I did get my stop loss hit with this wick over here of this green candle, right? So somewhere over here I did enter because I really want to chase this, but I was not going to risk basically two green trades on my small account, especially considering today is the first day of that small account, right? So that's 3 out of 3 trades. I could have made so much more on either one of the accounts, to be honest. Trading 2 account, guys, so that's why I don't really know which profit to show a picture of, right? I mean, but again, I don't think showing profits or is always the way. I mean, yeah, it might attract audience, it might attract people, but however, it's not gonna help you understand exactly the setup, right? So as always, guys, be safe. It's a Friday. uh, Again, as always, peace, love, and cheers. Thank you. So please drop a like, please, whatever, show some support. Thank you.